Production support for the weekly special is provided by IU School of Public Health Bloomington, addressing public health needs by preventing disease, promoting health, and improving quality of life across the state and around the world through research, teaching, and community engagement. The Al Cobain Recognition Endowment Fund, established by friends and family of Al Cobain to support jazz initiatives on WTIU and WFIU. And WTIU members, thank you.
Well, fall is definitely upon us, and that means it's time for Halloween. And what better place to celebrate than here in the Irvington neighborhood of Indianapolis? We'll learn about the beautiful history of this neighborhood, as well as talk about the ghosts and ghouls who still might be here. And we're going to celebrate Halloween right here in Irvington at the oldest Halloween festival in the country. That's all coming up next, right here on the Weekly Special. Welcome to the Weekly Special. I'm Daryl Neer. We're in Irvington neighborhood of Indianapolis, the first planned neighborhood of this city, and most certainly the epicenter of Halloween for the state of Indiana, as Irvington plays host to a Halloween festival that dates back to 1927. So, let's go explore Irvington. There's no better place to start to learn about Irvington than the Bonna Thompson Memorial Center of the Irvington Historical Society. And joining us is Executive Director Stephen Barnett. Steve, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, let's start about the origins of Irvington as I understand it, one of the first planned suburban neighborhoods of Indianapolis.
That's right, that's right. It was founded in 1870 as one of the first planned, or the first planned suburban community for Indianapolis. Sylvester Johnson and Jacob Julian, who came here, bought 360 acres and platted a community. The community had a slow start in the beginning. First of all, it was 5 miles from Indianapolis. You had the railroad track that took people to and from Indianapolis, and the other means was basically horse carriage. It got its name from the Julians. Washington Irving was a favorite of the Julian family. As everyone now knows, of course, Washington Irving, the great stories that he wrote, Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and those stories have lent a new feel for the community. At Halloween, the Legend of Sleepy Hollow is very much in vogue. So it's a great place. The charm of Irvington as a separate neighborhood. First of all, the plan for the community. We do not have a grid street system. So the streets are unique. Then you have the institutions. Butler University was here for 53 years. You had professors who lived in the community. You had international, national people coming in to give lectures at Butler who stayed in the homes of Butler's president and other people, such as Sojourner Truth and Woodrow Wilson and others. So it was a draw for people of great standing. And so over the last 140 years, we have had architectural styles that reflect all eras. So it is a wonderful place to wander through just because of the visual scenery from the sidewalk. Tree-lined streets, particularly in the fall, are just absolutely gorgeous. So it is a great community for pedestrians and a lovely place for anyone who likes to walk.
Well, one of the unifying themes now when you're walking the neighborhoods, it may not be the architectural styles, but it's the decorations that are here in October that are celebrating Halloween.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. What was it that originated this connection between Irvington and Halloween as really, in many ways, definitional of this period for central Indiana?
Well, like I said earlier, the town is named after Washington Irving. And who hasn't either read or seen on the screen The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. And so this is what gives the community its charm in late October. Early in 1927 was really the first organized Halloween carnival. And that lasted for 2 or 3 years, and then the Depression came about. And there was a great hiatus that ran almost 15 years or so until after World War II when the festival was resumed.
What is it with the community itself, do you think, has allowed this festival to persevere over time? When we go to other communities, you see something start and fail, but Irvington has kept this connection going.
Well, in 1946, when the businessmen decided to resume the Halloween festival, one of the innovations that they created was a soaping of the windows. Someone came up with the idea that, well, we might channel the young inspirations into a more organized soaping of the windows and give prizes, and that might then keep the eve of Halloween or Halloween night a little more safe. And so this has been a tradition since 1946, in addition to having a parade and to having dances and to having other festival activities. That, I think, has added to the uniqueness of the Irvington Festival. Other communities may have a Halloween festival, but I don't really know of any other community that paints on the windows. Residents participated as children, their children participated as children, and now their grandchildren are participating as grandchildren. And I think the Halloween festival, for all the spooky trappings that go with Halloween, I think it evokes that whole spirit of friendship and enjoyment of life. And I think that's what Irvington, it's been in this past, and I think that's what Irvington's future is.
Well, Steve, thank you so much for your time and giving us a sense of this community. You mentioned spirit. Well, we're going to go take a look at another kind of spirit as we go on a ghost tour of Irvington.
It's the first stop on the Irvington Ghost Tour, and it's no wonder. For over a century, the Irvington Theater has been the center of the community.
The theater opened in December 3rd of 1913, had 525 seats. It was much different than what you see today. It was a little one-story building. It was 50 feet shorter. There weren't the shops on the other side. This was one of the last neighborhoods to get a movie theater. The neighborhood was kind of concerned that their children would be corrupted by these Keystone Cops and Charlie Chaplin kind of movies, so they tried to show educational movies for the first period of time, and I don't know exactly how long that lasted.
The original theater closed in 1923 when former manager Charlie Walker bought the theater, renovated it to its current configuration, and reopened it in 1926.
The theater in 1913 was very different. No electricity, probably no plumbing, probably crank projectors, small seats that most of us wouldn't fit in. The screen was probably about as big as a big screen TV is now, and they showed very short films. A long film would be 15 minutes. When the theater was redone in 1926, at the time, projection was a very dangerous job, so the projection booth had to be enclosed in concrete or metal. So they created a second floor for it and added a projection booth. So you'll see the 4 holes upstairs. So that's one of the major changes that they made, and some of the things that you'd kind of see in here if you looked around. One of the stories that I've been told is that there's pumps and things down in the basement, and they used to run water down the back of the screen and had fans. So they'd run chilled water. That's how they air conditioned the place. The theaters were kind of the center of life at the time. So from what they tell me, in the 1920s, 1/3 of the population of the country would go to a movie theater at least 3 times a week. You came here for your social life and for your entertainment and for your news. So this was kind of the center of the neighborhood.
The Walker family ran the theater until 1969, when changing technology and a fading attendance forced its closure. For the next 40 years, it shifted from owner to owner until Dale, an architect by trade, bought the building in 2008 in an effort to restore it to its former glory.
It's a neat building, it's a neat piece of history, so I've always had an interest in it, and it literally sits in our front yard. The other part of this that I enjoy is when architecture can kind of tell a story, and that's part of our plans, is to restore portions of it, leave portions of it kind of a little deconstructed, and then, kind of tell that story of time. That's the fun part about history. It's all there, but nobody will dig through the surface to find it. So we do a little digging here and there. You start thinking about some of the people who have been in here, and then you hear all the stories of the people, the first kisses in here, and all the first dates and all that. And you feel almost an obligation to keep something around for them so that they have those sorts of things.
and Dale feels an obligation to build new memories for this generation, holding poetry readings, art exhibits, and band performances in an effort to make the theater the center of the neighborhood once more. Each year, the theater is a key role in the Halloween festival, hosting spooky stories, Rocky Horror Picture Show, and of course, the Irvington Ghost Tour.
Probably one of the most interesting moments was when I first owned it, and they brought in, I think it was 2 psychics, and they were just coming out the doors and I was just coming in, and I said, "What do you think?" And they go, "There are 28 spirits in there." Just kind of blown away first that they could count them. And I guess they all lined up. I don't know how it went. But just just kind of the depth of the spiritual side of this, the ghost side of this, it's all very interesting to me. I don't know if I believe in ghosts. What I like about the whole thing is we can't answer the question. But people have had all kinds of different experiences in here with all kinds of different things, and I think it's neat that you can kind of let your hair down here, whether it's dressing up in fishnet hose or whether it's saying, "I believe in ghosts," reading your first poem. We've had a lot of first-time musicians in here. It's just nice that you feel comfortable enough to do all that in here. I don't know how it works, I don't know why it works. It might be these ghosts in here who are helping me out. I have no idea, but it just seems to work.
Well, I'm an ex-high school teacher and ex-high school baseball coach, and I grew up on ghost stories and folklore. And I figured out really early on that the best way for me to get my history lessons through to my kids was to tell them a ghost story. So that's kind of how it all started. It's a hobby. You know, some people collect baseball cards, some people collect, stamps. We collect ghost stories. In Irvington, it was easy because it's always had a haunted reputation. There's no place in Indiana like Irvington. Ghost stories go back 100 years, 125 years to the first time anybody moved here. There weren't paranormal investigators back then, but everybody loved a good old ghost story back in those days. So it's very easy. You just go back and start searching in newspapers, yearbooks, and personal accounts. Well, everybody loves ghosts in Irvington. The Halloween festival's here, and it just has, since 1946, it's been a celebration of Halloween and all things spooky. It was an easy transition because Irvington's a special place, but it rests on a ley line, which is an energy line that goes back, predates men, and that seems to draw spirit energy into the areas that we go investigate. We talk to people that have had encounters, and then we go and try to find out why they're having an encounter, if there's a reason they would have an encounter, and try to match up that story with someone who may have lived in the house or come through the area. We hooked up with the Irvington Halloween Festival 13 years ago, and they wanted to do something like this, so we put it together, we researched it, and the first tour I think we had about 50 people, and now we get up to 300 people on a tour. So things have changed over the years. At first it was hearing and experiencing the history of Irvington, then it became more people wanted to come out to see a ghost. Well, I'm not that good. I can put you in a place where something might happen, and it is an active ghost tour. I mean, there are places on this tour where we have spirit activity, where we've had people taking pictures and getting full body manifestations, and we have several places where people actually get touched on the tour. We have a couple places that we literally have to warn people, be on your toes because this is an active area. I can tell you there's always at least one person on a tour, at least one person that comes in that is a non-believer and he leaves a believer. I won't tell you why that is, but you can tell, and I see it. I've talked to thousands of people over the years, and it kind of starts out a certain way where you can see in their faces they're expecting one thing and they're getting something completely different. So I hate to call them converts, but I would say they are less skeptical than when they started. Most ghost stories, you go onto them and it's someone's grandmother in the basement, somebody rattling chains in the attic. These are people that you can daydream and you can sit there and imagine when John Dillinger was here, imagine when H.H. Holmes was here, imagine when D.C. Stevenson was walking around. And it's just, they're surprised that all this goes on and they didn't know about it.
This is the one place in Irvington that you can come to that is evil ground. It doesn't matter where you stand, you're in it. This is the area where America's first serial killer came through, a man by the name of H.H. Holmes. Has anybody read Eric Larson's book, Devil in the White City? That's about H.H. Holmes in the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. They claim that he killed over 200 people. We will never know. He admitted to killing 28. Holmes himself was a University of Michigan graduate with a medical degree. They sent him through, he became a doctor, and he was bad from the start. He came up with a plan. His plan was to build a hotel in time for the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. 28 million people went to that fair. That's over 1/2 of the entire population of the country at the time. Holmes developed a plan to build a hotel at 63rd and Wallace on the south side of Chicago to get the guests to the fair to come there. Many of those guests never checked back out. It was a very special hotel, 3 stories tall, designed with windows that did not open, doors that locked only from the outside, open gas valves in each of these rooms. In each of the closets was a grease chute that led straight to the cellar. What was waiting at the end of those grease chutes? A large vat of acid. By the time he came through here in Irvington, where you're standing, the fair was over. Cops had found out about some of the strange goings on, and they were chasing him. He was on to another scheme. He had taken the children of his business partner, a man by the name of Benjamin Peitzel, put $10,000 insurance on each of these kids' head, and he shuttled them around the Midwest from Cincinnati to Indianapolis up into Canada. He was being chased by a detective from the Pinkerton Detective Agency out of Chicago, a man by the name of Frank Geyer. Geyer had searched and searched and searched, looking for Holmes. He came to Irvington, and he showed this picture to the real estate agent down at the railroad station. He showed this photo, expecting to get the same answer he'd been getting all along. And the real estate agent down there said, "Yes, I've seen him." And Geyer asked, "Take me to the last place that you saw him." Brought him right here on the corner. This beautiful little bungalow. This was the far eastern edge of Irvington at the time. There were only 2 other houses here. The rest was woods. They went into the house. They searched the house. They found nothing. They went down to the cellar, and they found a large industrial-sized wood-burning stove down there. They dug around in this stove through the ashes, and they found a human jawbone with teeth in it. It belonged to 10-year-old Howard Peitzel. Geyer went down to telegraph back to Chicago that he'd found something, and meantime he had stopped at the 2 houses between here and the railroad depot. The first was the blacksmith shop, and he asked and he showed the picture, "Have you seen this man?" And he said, "Yes, I saw him and I didn't like him." He said, "He asked me to sharpen his scalpels. I sharpened them razor sharp. He brought them back an hour later and said, 'They aren't sharp enough, sharpen them again.'" And the name that Holmes was traveling under when he came through Irvington was not H.H. Holmes. He was going under the name of Dr. Cook.
People come out because they know they're going to have fun. They know that I'm passionate about it, and they know that I'm willing to answer all their questions on Irvington, tell them why I love this community, and I think I'm pretty persuasive in getting people to really love Irvington. It's that passion that I have that I hope will lead them out to study history. If I just have one person walk away from this tour with an interest in history, I think I've done my job. Our tours are designed to bring people back into Irvington. Come during our non-scary hours and eat at the restaurant, shop in the shops, spend time here because it's just a great, great community. This is a really, really cool place. And if it's this cool in the dark, how cool is it in the daytime?
I'm with Terra Elder, and Terra is the director of the Irvington Halloween Festival. And Terra, thanks for joining us and talking about the festival.
My pleasure.
Well, the festival, this is the 69th annual festival. What has made it possible for this festival to persevere over time? Because we've seen so many events in other communities, they succeed, they fail, but Irvington's been special.
It is absolutely everything having to do with the community. And the community really based on sponsorship from the businesses, the volunteer base. We have over 200 volunteer positions that are filled every year, and people are so passionate about this. And in fact, sometimes it's almost harder to figure out how can we best apply someone's talents and skills that they want to volunteer and put them to good use versus even having to knock on doors and say, everybody come out and apply or come out and interview.
Well, the situation with the festival, I mean, we talk about community, it's kind of difficult to define that right now because it started as Irvington neighborhood and now it's grown into something so much bigger.
Absolutely. It's doubled in size every year over the past 3 years. So even 4 or 5 years ago, it was really an Irvington community event. And now it truly is becoming a citywide event. And it's the longest running Halloween festival in the nation. So people are just really excited about Halloween, really all over the city, but a lot of people say that they moved to Irvington, a lot of it because of this, or maybe they didn't know that Irvington was the community it is until they come to the festival and then decide to stay.
I think that's a good point because we talk about the festival itself, but when you look at the neighborhood, you can see how invested people are in this, in the festival and Halloween in general.
Absolutely. We have a house decorating contest, and people go all out for their houses, and the scarecrow decorating. I mean, people just really want to show their creativity through Halloween.
Well, you mentioned the home decorating component, but there are a number of other events that are going on over the week. Some that are rich in tradition and others that are new, and I wonder if you could speak to how those events have evolved and the highlights of the festival.
Well, family is really what this is mostly about, and every event that involves children is free. So, for example, we do window painting. So behind you there are windows on the businesses along the Washington corridor here. That has been a tradition since the beginning, and that's something that's gone on year after year. We've got 800 windows now. The families come, sign up in our local library, and then they pick out their windows. Some families for years and years and years have done the same block of windows, and just through generations. Now parents are going through with their kids that they did it when they were younger, and even grandparents that did it when they were younger.
Well, what are some of the events that happened earlier in the week?
So earlier in the week we had a pumpkin carving contest, a scholarship pageant. We also had a masquerade ball. It sold out really quickly. And then we had a puppet show and in our historic Irvington Theater. And tonight we're actually going to have a zombie bike ride.
So when we look at Friday and Saturday, you have an event on Friday, but Saturday really is the big day of the festival.
Yes, it is. And so every year it's the last Saturday in October, and then that determines when we have all of our other events leading up to the street fair. So the street fair is from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and we've got 230 vendors. Last year we had an estimated 30,000 people come out, and this year it's actually on Halloween, which only happens, every 6 years or so. So we can only estimate that it's going to be much larger. And then even before the street fair is our Pleasant Run, which is a run through the streets of Irvington. So you get to see the leaves changing. It's one of the few residential runs in the city, and it's also a great taper run. Some people do it before their monumental marathon, and so it's a 5-miler.
Well, so the parade that, if you look, I was looking at the history and it talked about a children's parade, and you talk about something that's part of that tradition that's evolved. The parade is something very special and unique.
It is, and it wraps up all of our festivities. It is the last part of the Irvington Halloween Festival. So it is a pedestrian parade, and it is children, but it's adults, it's pets. I mean, if you love people watching, that is the time to come out. It starts at 4 o'clock every year to end the festival, and everybody just walks down the street, shows off their costumes, and it's just really a pleasure to watch.
Well, speaking of costumes, Halloween, what are you planning to dress up as?
As the Halloween Festival director. I do not, I put it on, and now we really just don't even have time to focus on ourselves, some of us. So this is my uniform. This is what you'll see me in.
Well, Terra, thank you so much for joining us and sharing about the festival, and we look forward to seeing what happens this year and next.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Well, it's been a great visit to Irvington, a historic and beautiful neighborhood, and clearly residents past and present love it here. And if you'd like to learn more about the Halloween Festival, visit irvingtonhalloween.com. And if you want to see some bonus footage of our visit, go to weeklyspecial.org. That's all the time we have this week. Have a safe and spooky Halloween. Good night.
Production support for the weekly special is provided by IU School of Public Health Bloomington, addressing public health needs by preventing disease, promoting health, and improving quality of life across the state and around the world through research, teaching, and community engagement. The Al Cobain Recognition Endowment Fund, established by friends and family of Al Cobain to support jazz initiatives on WTIU and WFIU. And WTIU members, thank you.